This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And I thought of an interesting stat, and this was a joke that we had in the Calgary game. And this was actually a really good point brought up by you guys in the chat. Is the simple fact that the Oilers quit winning as soon as I went away from the This is Dolany to the ladies and gentlemen, this is Dolany TV. The Oilers are 1-0 since that change, so let's just remember, anytime the Oilers do have problems, it seems I have messed with the formula. No, that aside. Let's not worry about the Oilers right now. That's where I'm going. Now, like I said, this is a little bit off topic, but we love this off topic discussion. Once a month, once every month and a half, whatever it takes to fill up the schedule and get that games played down there in Bakersfield. Yes, sirree, we're going to talk about the Condors today because we haven't done it in a while. And, they are just as active as we are. They play a lot of weekend games, but they play a lot of games without our knowledge, really, it seems. Unless you follow them on social media, you might not know what's going on. So let's get back to December, and let's go all the way back to, how about Derek Carr Youth Jersey Giveaway Night. Since then, the Condors have won, lost, won. So they were 2-2 just after Christmas on the 28th, and then won and lost in overtime. So they're 3-2-1 since about the last time we talked. 3-2-2 since maybe the last time we talked, December 13th. I actually should have looked up the date of the video. But regardless, I still feel it is very important to take a look at where these Condors of ours are sitting at this point. The standings, of course, always an interesting part for the Pacific Division in the AHL. The Tucson Roadrunners sitting first. They've got 48 points. The Bakersfield Condors out of it for right now at 29 points. That said, though, Thomas Yurko, who is absolutely lighting it on fire, is down for surgery, I believe. So he only played 8 games, had 7 points so far this season, and now he's gone for probably the entire year from what I've understood from subscriber Sam. Now bear with me, I may be incorrect there, and that's where my man Alex usually comes in to correct me as well. So I'm just looking at the standings here. Bakersfield's at 29 points. The division goes 34, 37, 43 all the way to the top at Tucson with 48. So there is some record to go, but the Condors sitting at 12, 13, and 4. They're without Shane Sterrett as far as I understand as well. So you talk about losing the goalie that pretty much got you where you were last year. It's pretty tough to get it going, but Shane Sterrett at 3-2-1 on the season, an .893 save percentage and .287 goals against average. Here's the thing with the Condors. If they had Shane Sterrett in net, they've probably won 18, 19 games just based on the goals against average in 7 games he's played this season. Now that said, you talk about Stuart Skinner, who saw the NHL bench for a game in December. 367 goals against average, a 9-7-3 record, and an .878 save percentage. So this is the ugly, terrible thing that's going on. Our 2 young goalies that we're starting to place a couple of hopes in Skinner and Wells, both sitting above 3.67. Wells at 3.77 goals against average, and an 8.78 save percentage as well in 7 games. Skinner's played 20 games, so me oh my, it's not looking good in net, but that's exactly. This team's still stacked, and that's why we're pretty much 500. You look at where we'll talk about Kailer Yamamoto in a moment, but this team's also dealt with injuries up front and on the D-core. Don't pretend it's just been on the goaltending crease side of things. Tyler Benson, 25 points, 7 goals, 18 assists in 30 games played, 3 of those goals on the power play. Now, Mr. Sniper himself, Josh Curry, 13 goals, 8 assists for 21 points in 30 games. He's a big old +5 on the season. By all means, to lead the team by the looks of things here, absolutely he does. Jake Kulevich is next with a +4, but he's only played 18 games, so I guess maybe the contention there for that plus-minus a little bit. Brad Malone, 21 points, 29 games played, 14 assists for Brad Malone. That's the interesting number there. Cooper Marody's having a little bit quieter of a season. He has not played the full 30 games at 26 games played this year. 17 points and a -8. So it's been, like I said, quieter sophomore season for him. But I think, you know what, he could definitely go out there and still tear it up in the second half of the season once the Condors flick the switch to about game 34. Now, he'll have to do that for the time being without Kyler Yamamoto, who scored a goal in his NHL debut this season. Of course, he's made his NHL debut before, but this is his debut for the 1920 season. Empty netter, I don't care. It's a goal, sealed the deal, and we won that one last night. 23 games played for Yamamoto, 16 points in the AHL. Of course, the great game before his call-up sealed the deal for him to get up here. Evan Bouchard, this is the hot topic. Everybody's discussing the -12 rating. Well, you know what? Nobody's discussing Joseph Gambardella's -10 rating, so I don't know why we're worrying about Evan Bouchard. Oh, it's because we have high hopes placed on this guy. I get it, right? That we set standards, places, right? We get the standard thing. I've discussed that once today. Never satisfied. 16 points, 30 games played, 4 goals, 12 assists. Man, you know what? The one thing I'm going to say, I'm not satisfied with Evan Bouchard, and I think Bakersfield Condors fans are going to agree here, is we have not seen enough Bouch bombs this year. Come on. Those blasts from the point, oh, baby. Every time. You just, like, yeah, sure, he's probably shot the puck a ton. It's Evan Bouchard we're talking about. Evan Bouchard shot the puck 79 times in 30 games, so just about 3 times a game, 2.5 times a game, whatever you want to say. You know what? We just haven't seen enough. And I haven't watched a game this year, but what are those goalies doing right to stop Evan Bouchard every time? Or is he just not unleashing the slapper? That's what I'm saying. That's my one misgiving, is the goals not being up. Guys, Evan Bouchard at the AHL level, I'm sorry, we know that shot's caliber. And we know that should be scoring goals. And on the power play, good night. But I guess when everyone's injured, it's hard to get everybody into the mix on the power play the right way. 14 points in 24 games for Joseph Gambardella. 12 points in 30 games for Ryan McLeod. Again, another guy we've got high hopes for. So you got to hope that you get it going here soon enough for him. But you know what? Again, sophomore season, I guess, technically speaking, after the playoff run. But this is rookie season in the AHL, true rookie season. Colby Cave, 11 points in 24 games for the Condors. This is the tough one. You know what? He rocked it, got called back up, and then hasn't really, according to the stat sheet, lit it up since going back down. But what you going to do? You've only played 24 games. Let's see what he's got the rest of the season, and we'll make a decision on some farm depth a little bit later in the offseason. Luke Esposito, 11 points in 30 games. This guy, I guess, is tearing it up. And he also plays baseball. That's a fun, if you go on the Condors social media, I think it's Instagram, you'll see that. Caleb Jones, 11 points, 14 games. He's with us, don't worry about it. Now, this is the interesting one because the guy started on the IR to begin our NHL season in Logan Day. 10 points, 24 games played. He was sent down officially to the Condors into the season, but he was already down there prior because I've got the list that lists him as a Condor in the preseason. Fun fact. Good go. Kirill Maximov, 10 points in 27 games. Kirill's starting to come around. Those first 12 or so games, I think the first update I did was really rough. We were like, oh boy, maybe we don't have what we thought, but you know what? 10 points, 27 games. He's a +1, and the shots are starting to come up. Like, he's only shot the puck 24 times, so as the chances increase, obviously now with Yamamoto out, Maximov's going to probably see some more wing time. Well, guess what? There you go. Formula for success. Joel Persson, guys. What can be said about Joel Persson? Figuring out the North American game. 9 points in 14 games. Only a goal, but those 8 helpers. That's what we like to see. That's Persson's game, is he's a good setup man on the blue line, and that's what he's getting done. William Lagesson. Man, okay, why'd they call up Lagesson? He's only got 8 points in 21 games. Persson's got 9 points in 14 games because, guys, it's the ideal, right? Is Persson's not exactly the ideal 7th defenseman, whereas William Lagesson, guys, this guy, he's a grinder. He gets the job done, and I wish I could watch the game from last night and watch it over and see what kind of grinder he was out there last night, but you know what? I think from what I've heard and from what I watched, the only time he got burned is that Artemi Panarin snipe shot. And what you gonna do? It's Artemi Panarin. The dude makes $11 million to do just that. Let's be serious. Take it against Darnell Nurse. Probably the same result. Now, Thomas Shirko, 7 points in 8 games. I've already mentioned him off the top. 6 points in 28 games for Dmitry Samorukov. Boys, man, this sucks. We're already talking about trading this guy. Let him develop, because let me tell you, If he just keeps unraveling to be this great thing that we really didn't think he was, maybe just based on draft position, let me tell you, gem in the rough, keep it, keep it, keep it. Now, we'll skip over Gagne because he's pretty much up with us full time unless he gets back down there in a little bit. Stukel, 4 points in 11 games. Peluso, 3 points in 24 games. Keegan Lowe, 3 points in 30 games. Cameron Hebig, 2 points in 10 games. He spent some time in the ECHL recently. He's now back up with the Condors as far as I understand. He got called up the same time as Granlund and Manning went down. Then you've got Miles Cools, 2 points in 13 games. Jake Kulovich, 2 points, 18 games. We've already talked about him. Brandon Manning had an assist in 1 game played. So this is good. This is where Brandon Manning's really going to come in handy, is the fact that, you know what, the injuries have been so prevalent on the farm this season, and they love shuffling the D up in between the ECHL and AHL. That's just the level of nature of the minor leagues. So good place for Brandon Manning to shuffle around a little bit. Steven Yacobelis, 1 point. I believe he's back in the ECHL. And then Vinny Desharnais is back in the ECHL following his injury recovery. Nolan Vesey believed to be down there in the ECHL as well. And that rounds it into form, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Bakersfield Condors, who sit 12, 13, and my goodness, I forgot it. I think it's 4 on the NHL or AHL season here. It's 1. Oh yeah, no, it's 4. It's 4, but they actually have another loss. Shootout loss, so it's actually 12, 13, and 5 if you do the math correctly. There you go. All right, there you go. There's your standings. There's your stats. There's my little quips about what I know. Like I said, still haven't watched a game. Waiting on that Friday freebie they do on Facebook. They did one last year, and I quite enjoyed streaming it for you guys. So, it's the new year. Let's get it. All right, guys. I'm Tyson. This is Stolany TV. I will catch you in the next one.